For those of you waking up on the West Coast with me, the crew just hitting me with a story that came out just, in the last few minutes? Is this right?
Yeah.
Did you know anything about this, Danny G?
No, this just broke from the New York Post.
I don't know how the New York Post is breaking stories in Beverly Hills before the LA Times does, but there was a Beverly Hills party with hundreds of people in attendance that was, according to the New York Post, thrown for an unnamed NFL player, and 4 different people got shot at the party. So let's unpack again, this is according to the New York Post. Let's unpack all of the stupidity involved here. First of all, if you are throwing a party for hundreds of people right now, you are an idiot, right? Especially if you are a public figure who is doing this. Look, you guys know that I am not a Corona bro. I'm not a Karen running around screaming that everybody's going to die. But you probably shouldn't be having parties for hundreds of people at your house right now, especially if you are an NFL player who is being tested for the coronavirus on a regular basis and is trying to lead to a safe quarantine type environment for training camp. And that doesn't even consider the fact that if you're throwing a party for hundreds of people in Beverly freaking Hills, you probably don't expect for 4 people to get shot there. I mean, whoever this NFL player is should be released for stupidity. Now, I don't know again, this is the New York Post.
Yeah, I don't Airbnb, by the way. So it was a house party. And obviously, the company that manages the Airbnb said they had advised the renters that the party was a serious breach of the rental agreement and asked them to vacate the property immediately, CBS LA reported. And CBS LA has some pictures of the crowded house party.
Yeah, okay. So theoretically, you would presume that this would have to be, if it's a current NFL player, it would have to be somebody on the Rams or somebody on the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
So whoever the player is, assuming that it's a current player, you would think it has to be a Ram or a Charger player because otherwise every NFL player is supposed to be already reported now to their respective locations, right? Like everybody, I can't imagine how it could be anyone other than a player for the Chargers or the Rams if it is a current player. Now, it's possible it's Beverly Hills, that it's a retired player, and the New York Post has got this a little bit wrong. But if this actually happened, you have to cut this guy for stupidity, don't you? Because everybody's out there talking about how important it is to make good decisions off the field and limit their overall exposure to danger and keep everybody from being able to get sick. And we're talking about this in Major League Baseball, and everybody's in the process of getting tested right now in the NFL. If you are playing in the NFL right now, in the middle of coronavirus testing, and you are dumb enough to throw a party for hundreds of people in Beverly Hills, then I would cut this player on immediately. Maybe it would have to be somebody who is so good at what they do for me to not immediately cut them just for sheer stupidity. Again, the story that is out there, 4 people shot at a Beverly Hills party after hundreds show up for a party allegedly involving an NFL player. The NFL player has not yet been named.
Yeah, and the 4 injured are critically wounded. Again, they don't know which player it is or which team, but they say buses arrived to the mansion with hundreds of people. One of the partygoers said that a bunch of gangsters came in and robbed everybody and started shooting.
Do you agree with me that it's next level stupid and you theoretically would have to cut whoever's involved with this?
Yeah, if it is a current player for the Rams or Chargers, bye.
Unless it's like
a superstar.
It would have to be one of the 2 or 3 best players on the team if I own the team to not be willing to cut them. Dub, where does this rank on the stupidity scale for an athlete to have a party with hundreds of people? Really, any athlete, right? Because right now Major League Baseball is dealing with outbreaks, and they claim that it's just from people leaving the hotel for short periods of time, although that seems a little bit unlikely to me. I don't get tested every day, but I've been eating in restaurants for months. I lived down in Florida for a month. I'm outside on a regular basis, surrounded by people. I go to my gym and have been going to my gym for a month. Like, I don't know that I buy Derek Jeter's argument that all that happened was somebody went and left the hotel to get a coffee and they got the coronavirus and the whole team ended up with it. Maybe that happens. It seems like pretty awful luck that you went to Starbucks and ended up getting the coronavirus. Like, that doesn't seem very likely just based on interaction. I think that's probably on some level a lie. I think the Marlins probably did more than that. But even if you presume that it's incredibly easy to get the coronavirus, having a party with hundreds of people in it while you're in the middle of potentially trying to play a season is next level stupid.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And I feel like even if there wasn't 4 people that were shot, I feel like this would still make headlines because there's buses full of people, hundreds of people coming to a party in the middle of Beverly Hills. It's not like that's not going to go unnoticed in these current times, especially in the state of California. So the stupidity levels here are just absolutely off the charts.
Eddie, I know it's like, at some point you've been doing updates for years and years, but does the decision-making of some of the people that you have to give updates on just lead you who is advising a player? And he's like, hey, I got this idea. And you're like, all right. It's like, I'm thinking about renting an awesome mansion in Beverly Hills. And you're like, okay, I can see that. We'll have an awesome time, probably has a pool. We'll have a few people over. We can grill out. We can have some drinks. I mean, I'm not saying you can't have 15 or 20 people over even, which still is not smart, right? You still shouldn't do it, but you could at least see how the argument could be, hey, we're going to rent an awesome place. We're going to have the boys over. We'll get some girls with them. We're going to hang out by the pool. Like, I can easily see how that is a plan that seems like it could make sense, all right? The minute you rent a bus to bring people to your party at your rented Airbnb mansion in Beverly Hills in the middle of everybody trying to pass coronavirus tests so you can begin the NFL season, how is there no one advising this player who has an alarm bell going off that just says, that's like flashing like, this is stupid, this is stupid, this is stupid, and they don't think at all to avoid doing it?
Well, I don't know, but I assume that, again, a lot of these guys surround themselves with either people who are going to tell them whatever they want them to hear, right? They're not going to disagree with them. They're not going to say, hey, man, I don't think you should do this. Or it's their friends that they grew up with and they want to continue to ride the gravy train. So they're going to go along with it as well because they want to continue to enjoy, living off their friends. So that's the only thing I can think of is that they surround themselves with people who are never going to tell them no.
Yeah, there's no doubt that there's a ton of yes men, but it's just such a height of stupidity that even for dumb people, I'm surprised that no one was like, hey, this is really stupid. So, and that's before anybody even got shot, which is obviously taking it to a next level to have people directly wounded at your party. I don't even understand what the payoff is here in any kind of way. Didn't one of the YouTube guys get in trouble for throwing big parties in LA too? I feel like one of the big YouTube influencers was doing that as well. But I feel like those guys do a lot of stuff to get attention in general. So how long till the name of who this player is comes out?
I'm just waiting for TMZ to
How does TMZ get beaten on this story by the New York Post? 4 people getting, first of all, 4, you guys know, in LA, 4 people getting shot in Beverly Hills is super rare in the first place, right? It's not as if Beverly Hills is a dangerous location. So I don't know how many shootings Beverly Hills police have to investigate on a year-to-year basis, but I bet 4 people getting shot is a multi-year high, I would think, for Beverly Hills responding to a shooting incident. So this is not something that the Beverly Hills Police Department is dealing with on a regular basis. These are guys who are used to showing up at Rodeo Drive because there's a homeless guy probably who won't leave the front sidewalk in front of a restaurant, or because somebody walked out of Chanel with a purse and tried to sneak it away. I mean, we're not talking about a place where there is a rampant lawlessness that is constantly afoot. So 4 people getting shot is crazy. For TMZ to get beat on this by the New York Post, to have it happen at a party that's being thrown by an NFL player. Now, it's possible the New York Post, it's a retired NFL player. So it's possible it's not as dumb as we think and that it's a retired NFL player. But if it's a current NFL player, you would think it has to be somebody with the Rams or the Chargers, because otherwise everybody should be back near their physical location as they go through coronavirus testing. So anyway, this story just dropped right into our laps as the West Coast is waking up. We'll update you if any news comes out during the course of this hour about who the ignoramus that made the decision to do this actually was. And again, there are photos you can see of tons of people on the balconies of this house. Like, if you rent a bus to throw a party right now, really questionable move.